Good morning. Welcome to practice. Um, Unusually, I have a block on my mat today. Love to try a different way of work we've been doing. So if you have one, grab hold. Otherwise, you can always double a blanket over or use two blankets instead. And we're going to begin laying down. So equipment off to the side. And the arms softly overhead. If you find that's challenging for your neck or shoulders, you can put your hands up on a blanket. Paying attention to your breath. And as you start to bring your focus to yourself, to your breathing, it's noticing where your body might be tense. See if you can give in to this shape a little more. Good. And then we're going to put the left heel on the right knee and let the legs gently to the right side. Use the core awareness to lower slowly. Maybe your left foot even touches down. Good. Core of the body working to lift the legs and swapping sides. Maybe the right foot can reach all the way down to the floor. Good. Core of the body to lift and one more on each side. Upper body relaxed. Feeling the flow of your breath. The experience of this first movement. Part of it comfortable, possibly part of it uncomfortable, but just taking notice. Good. And then back to center. And we'll bring the arms down now and rest them by your side, palms up. And let's take the legs straight up. We're going to lower them a little bit towards the floor so the feet are a little further out from your torso than your hip. Good. And just enough that if you press your lower back, you can feel the front core of the body working to hold the leg. Good, but not so much that you're really straining. Just switching on that awareness. And shoulders relax, face and throat. Good. So we want to work from here, and we're going to draw little circles with the toes. And feeling the engagement of the core of the body. Pressing the skin of your lower back towards the floor. Good. And then go in the other direction. Ah. Nice work. Relax and hug your knees in. Great. Now put your feet down on the floor and we're going to pick up the left leg. Take hold of your left foot, and what I want you to do is massage your toes. So take hold of them with your right hand and massage the toes so they stretch in a very strong plantar flex back towards the heel. So they're pointing towards the sole of your foot. So stretching the front of your foot, front of your ankle, front of the shin, like we would do in kneeling. Good. And even notice you can bend more the big toe And then across your foot, bend more the little toe. Mm. Nice. And release that one. And the right foot. And take hold of the toe and plantar flex, very strong plantar flex, the biggest stretch you can give yourself for the front of your foot, your ankle, your shin, and then just put the pressure across the foot a little bit. So you're doing that for your little toe and then for your big toe across the foot. Good. Nice. And feet down on the floor. Now, if the next one is too strong or you can't quite reach the movement, you're going to repeat what we just did. Otherwise, we're going to take the left foot again and try to put the toes on the floor. So bend the leg in, put the toes on the floor so the floor is giving your toes the stretch. So the toes are curled under, back towards the sole of the foot. Ooh. And then very gently moving the weight across the foot. So you go to the little toe side, gently across to the big toe side. Nice. And then release that. It will feel like a pretty strong stretch. Good. And then the right foot. So you're tucking your toes under and using the floor to apply that pressure. So again, if it's too strong, just go back to the first one we did where we were only using the hand. And then I'm putting a little bit of weight across from big toe to little toe. Oh, good. And then releasing. Nice work. Let's bring the knees in again and take hold of the feet and come into happy baby pose. But this time, really try and grab hold of your toes and dorsiflexing. So it's the opposite direction. So we want to curl the toes down towards the knees. And letting the knees move towards the floor. So the belly is nice and broad and relaxed. And your lower back is relaxed. And just rock a little bit from side to side. Good. As you rock now, if you rock to the right, try to straighten your right leg a little bit. As you rock to the left, try to straighten your left leg a little bit. We're going to go from side to side, straightening the legs so we can feel that big stretch in the hamstrings. Nice work. Good. And then releasing. All right, we're going to come up to standing any way you like, but if you want to try for rolling up, use a little bit of momentum. You're going to cross your feet at your ankles and a big roll. Good. Now, we're standing and we're going to do that same stretching. Plantar flex. Oh, sorry, turning the wrong way. So you can see, I'm going to do the left foot forward first. So I'm standing on the right foot, tuck the toes back. So you're on the front or the top of your toes are on the floor. Good. So we're balancing on the right foot to manage this, and you can determine how much weight is in this stretch, but also see if you can shift the weight across the foot. So we get the little toe side as well as the big toe side. Nice work. Release that side and right foot. Front or the top of your toes go onto the floor. So you're tucking your toes back. The toes are pointing backwards. Nice little stretch across the foot. Beautiful. All right. And let's do the opposite stretch of the feet by coming into a forward bend. So put your feet hip width parallel. Urdhva Hastasana, arms out, look up. Uttanasana. We have the heels on the floor here. Good. And with your hands down on the floor, just bend your legs as much as you need to for your back to feel more relaxed. Hand side on so you can see. You're going to walk your hands forward, but try to keep the hips back. So we increase that stretch a little in the back of the leg. Good, and then walk the hands back. Good, and then bend the knees. And rolling up, Urdhva Hastasana. Nice work. You're going to take your blanket now. Not too high. Just put the edge of the blanket parallel to your mat and put the balls of your feet up on that blanket. We'll take the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Now, bend your legs, and you don't have to reach all the way to the floor. You can hold onto your leg. Just check in your spine. Feels relaxed here. But this is going to increase the stretch in the leg. So take it slow. Have compassion. Find your breath and feel what it's like to start to straighten your leg. Relax your feet. Not to grip your toes. Good. And then releasing that side. Nice one. Step off your blanket. Arms all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana. Tadasana. Great. Now this is where we're going to use the block. And if you don't have a block, double your blanket. Make the blanket as high as you can. And if you're using your block, even put it up onto the middle side. Don't use it up high. You won't fit on it. Use it up on the middle side height. And you can add a blanket to it. And what I'd like to do is sit onto that. So help yourself to sit safely down onto that height. One fell. All right, so you're sitting comfortably and you're going to bring your heels in as close as your knees allow. This is a really nice way to practice your squatting without putting the pressure on your knees. So here we're in a squat shape, but the weight is in the sit bone. Find your breath. Good. Now, legs out as wide as is comfortable for your hips and your knees, and turn your toes so that they go in the same direction as your knees are facing. Great. And your heels a little bit wider than your hips. Okay. And then the other thing we want to do is bring the heels in as close to your block or your sit bone as your knees will allow. And we're just going to rock back and forward a little bit. And you check in that your knees are okay with that movement. Just rocking back and forward. Try to press your heels down. Try to keep them in contact with the floor. All right, next time you rock forward, let's hold and bring your upper arm into Malasana, so on the inside of your leg. Press the palm. Take a few breaths, discovering what might be resistant or challenging in this pose. And you're checking in that your knees are okay here. So this might be plenty of stretch, especially if you've had a knee injury or you're vulnerable in your knees. Might be plenty of work for you to do in your squatting. Nicely done. Now, if your knees are feeling fine, what about trying to hover onto your feet? So just lifting your sit bones off your support, even if it's for a moment and sitting back down. Uh-oh, I heard John fall backwards. Are you okay, honey? You're just hovering. Try to keep the heels down. And if you find that you can hover, maybe you can press your heels and stand up from there. Whoa. Watch your block hasn't fallen over because we're going to sit back down again. So same thing that you did to get up. hovering for a moment, getting the heels as close to the floor as you can, and sitting down. Nice. Now you might still just be in your squat, breathing. Or if you can get that feeling of hovering for a moment so that you can stand up, pressing your heels down, do that one again. Check your block is there. And keep the heels down, lifting the pelvic floor. Beautiful. All right, we're going to come up to standing. And take your equipment out. Nice work. And come to the front of your mat, short front of the mat. Heels a little bit wider than the hips, both turned out. Take the arms up and bring your hands into prayer position. We're going to try and keep the breastbone lifting, shoulder blades down, and come into a little squat where you're lifting the pelvic floor and you're holding this position by pressing your heels down and feeling strong in your leg. Good. So people vulnerable in the knees, you might just be staying here. And if you're able to dip down deeper, then do that. And lifting the breastbone. Good. Lifting the pelvic floor, pressing to the heels and coming up. Nice work. Arms up. Great. We're going to come into a standing forward bend again. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, Uttanasana, where your hands are on your legs or on the floor. And if you like using a chair, what to say, you can grab the seat of the chair and put your hands on that instead. And what we're going to do is lift alternate heels. So lifting the left heel, be right up on the ball of the foot, and then place that one back down, lifting the right heel. Try to get as much movement in your feet as you possibly can. Good. You might be limited in your reaching forward. So you can lift up a little bit higher, put your hands up on your legs. It's just a bit trickier to balance. As much movement as you can in your feet. Good. And then put your hands down onto the floor. And then we're going to try and keep a lot of movement in the feet, be kind of theatrical, and walk the feet back. Imagine one of those big cats. What are the ones that go up in the trees? Padding along the bough of a tree. A jaguar. Good. And then pressing the heels down when you're at the back of your mat in that sort of downward facing dog pose. And then pad the feet forward. Try to really get the feet moving. So you're right up onto the ball of the foot. You're pressing down the heel. Alternately. Good. And when you run out of room, roll up. Good. Back to the front of your mat, Urdhva Hastasana and Tadasana. Nice alive, the feet. Inhale, arms up. Uttanasana. Ooh. Big step back with the left foot. So we're in a long lunge position. And drop your hips and bend your back knee towards the floor, but not quite onto the floor. Good. And then try straightening your back leg. But keep the hips as far forward or as close to the floor as you can. Good. Now we're going to lift up onto the right leg and lift the left leg up behind you. Now you might need to put the tiptoes back down on the floor Or you might be able to lift them up high, and we're going to look forward and keep the hips level to the floor. Good. Have the front leg a little bit bent. Lift the left leg or stretch it back. If your tiptoes are on the floor, stretch it back. Good. And then just without falling forward, see if you can lift up onto the ball of the right foot. Good. And then lowering down. And we're going to step forward, lift up, and balance on the right leg. Ooh. Good. Take a balance hold. That might be tiptoes on the floor, hands at the heart, holding your knee or holding your left foot. Finding your balance. Finding the breath. Letting the breath find space in the body. Beautiful. Releasing that side. Tadasana. Urdhva-hastasana. Uttanasana. Big step back with the right foot. So you're in a long lunge. We're going to drop the back knee towards the floor, but not quite onto the floor. Find your hips level to the floor. And now straighten your back leg. Try to keep the hips forward or close to the floor. Nice work. Now we're going to step forward onto the left foot and lift the right leg up behind. The hands at the floor or the seat of your chair to hold you. Now you don't have to lift the right foot off the floor. You might have your tiptoes on the floor, but reach it back. Reach the breastbone forward. Or you're lifting and reaching back. Ooh. Good. Now bend your left knee a little bit. And I don't want you to tip forward, so you might maybe walk the hands forward and see if you can lift up onto the ball of the left foot. Beautiful. Lowering down. We're going to lift up the torso, the hands, step forward, and balance on the left foot. Ooh, find your balance challenged. That might be tiptoes onto the floor, hands at the heart. It might be holding onto your knee or holding onto your foot. Find your breath, making length and space. Good. And then releasing that side. Tadasana. Urdhva-hastasana. Uttanasana. Good. We're going to walk the feet back in that way, that jaguar way. Patting the feet, trying to move every joint of your feet. Trying to press your heels down. Walking your feet back. And the aim of this is to sit down on the floor. So when you're ready, you can kneel. And if you can't kneel, then come up to standing, sit down, however is the most comfortable. And we're going to sit up onto that high support again. So I've got my block up on the middle thigh. Don't let it fall over. Make sure you're stable. Good. We're going to bring the right leg out to straight and be on the sole of the left foot. So the left leg is bent, but both thighs are going out as far as your hips allow. So we're in a one-legged squat now. Well done. So again, because the weight now is in the sit bones, not on the feet, we can be much more careful with the knees, but they can get the stretch and the sense of what this posture might be. Don't over straighten your right leg if it hurts your knee. If it feels fine, you can be really straight and strong there, but everybody lift the kneecap. But try to always be activating that muscle. Great. Press down your left heel. Good. Now, you can just hold this posture. This might be a really good stretch for where your knees are at. If you want to try that hovering movement so that you were to balance on your left foot, use your hands somehow to help you tip just forward off your support, lock on your blanket, so that you're on your left foot. My heel comes off the floor, but see how you go with that movement. Good. Sit yourself back down onto your support. Don't let it fall. Ooh. And then bend in your right leg and left leg out straight. Okay, so we're in our half squat, but with the weight on the sit bone. And so here, use your quadricep, left quadricep, powerfully lifting. Beautiful. And experiencing that shape without hurting your knees. Good, lifting the pelvic floor, the belly, the breastbone. Nice work. Imagine if it could feel like this when the weight is on your foot. Me too. All right, if you want to try putting the weight on your foot, then use your hands to help you and just hover forward. Try to press the heel down. Going to lift up, I know. It'll be a more intense stretch. Stay powerful in your legs. Lift the pelvic floor. Lift the belly, lift the breast. Balance. And then you're going to help yourself back onto your block without the block falling over. Nice work. And back into two-legged squat. Nice. Good. Lifting the belly, lifting the breastbone, feeling internal muscular support. If you can hover off your block, try that. Good. And then try padding the feet or lifting the heel one at a time. You can do this whether your sit bones are sitting down or hovering. Good. So that you're pressing your heels down now to the floor, even twisting your torso so you can get the heels right down. And imagine you could sit back either onto your block or sit straight down onto the floor without falling. So get the legs moving, get the feet moving. Feel that last little bit. Much harder without something to sit onto. Nice. And then we're going to lay down. Oh, that's squatting. Take your legs out to straight. Beautiful. Right heel goes up on the left tiptoes. Left, the feet are going to go left. The lower half of the body turns. Put your arms out from your shoulders. We'll try and keep the right shoulder blade on the floor. Now, we're trying to lift the left, sorry, wrong side. We're trying to lift the right rib and use the right gluteus muscle. So squeeze the gluteus muscle towards your back waist. Finding your revitalizing breath. Nice work. And then releasing that side. Inside edges of the feet together. Left heel up on the right tiptoes. Feet go right. Left. Shoulder blade stays on the floor and you're looking there. And coming back to center. Nice. All right, we're going to keep the feet out or the legs out straight. Take your arms overhead and hold on to your left elbow with your right hand and walk your upper body over to the right side. So we're getting a really nice big stretch in the left shoulder, shoulder blade, ribs, side of the waist. And then if you walk your feet as well to the right, so we're a nice big banana shape, stretching the left side of the body. Oh. Neck relax. Good. And then gently release all of that and let yourself find center again. And then we'll go to the second side. So it's the right elbow held with the left hand and wiggle your upper body over to the left. So if you gently pull your elbow, feeling that nice big stretch. Right ribs, right waist, right shoulder. Times, if the shoulder is tight, all of the experience feels like it's in the shoulder. That's okay. Just taking it gently, kindly. And then walk your feet over to the left side. Letting yourself lengthen. Good. And then releasing your arms, releasing your legs back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Nice. Now, since you've got a block handy, or if you don't have a block, you can use your blanket and double it over. Let's put the block under the sacrum. I've just got mine on the middle side. If that is too strong for your back, lower it down, or don't use the block if that's still too strong. Use a blanket or even just the flat of the floor. We're going to rest the sacrum now and rest the lower back. Face relaxed, throat relaxed. And then if it feels okay, take your legs out to straight. Letting the front of the hips lengthen. Feeling the breath washing through the joints of the body. Identifying struggle and ease. Good. And then releasing. Now, I'm going to make my block a bit softer by putting a blanket on top of it. I'm going to lower it down and put the blanket there. Good. And then you're going to cross your feet at the ankles. Use your hands on the outside of your leg and try to coax your feet down onto the floor so they're right under your sit bones. They might be touching the block. And then the knees head towards the floor. And the stretch is a big stretch in the front of the quadriceps. It's also stretching quite deeply into the front of the hips. So if it's too strong, you're going, oh my goodness, take all the support out from underneath you and do it on the flat of the floor. Otherwise, we're going to try and relax. That's a relax in inverted commas, I think. Yeah. Oh, and then we're going to do the other side. So pick your feet up, cross your feet at your ankles. So the higher the support is under your hips, the stronger this feels. So, and some people don't need it to be strong to already be challenging. Okay, so bring your feet. I just use my hands on my toes to bring the toes or the feet as close as I can to this under the sit bone. And letting the knees towards the floor. Whoa. Good. And then we're going to release that side. Now, a really comforting, different way we can use the equipment is just push it out from under you towards your feet. Put your feet up on your equipment. So the soles of the feet are together and the knees are out wide and you're in Baddha Konasana. Let's take cactus arms. Ah. And as you tune into your breath again, letting your body just be in this strange shape. Mm. In the last part of the timing, letting the breath flow into the spaciousness of your hips and your legs, your belly, your torso. Beautiful. And then we're going to release from there and just move your equipment off your mat off to the side. Excuse me. Inside edges of your feet together, knees together, arms out wide. We're going to lift the feet off the floor. Lift the hips, take them left. Feel the core work of your body as you take your knee, not quite to the floor on the right. Feel the core of the body, that full support for that movement of the leg. Lift the hips, swing them right, and knees go left. Not quite touching the floor. Back up again, one more each side. Enjoying your strong core and your connection and understanding of that. Mm. Good. And then knees back to center, hug them to your chest and rock a little from side to side. People who would like to stay for Shavasana, lay your legs out And if you need to finish your practice now, rolling over to your right side and coming up to sing a namaste to you. Shavasana people, when you lay your legs out, just checking in. Do you need a little more support under your head so your neck is more comfortable? Do you need a blanket under your thighs so your lower back is more easeful? Arms out a little from the sides of the body. Upper arms roll out and palms rolling up. Feel the feet here rolling out from the ankle. No work to do just now. Feel the ankles and the lower leg. And the knees. And the thighs. Your hips. And the sacrum. Belly. The organs therein. Buttocks. Lower back. Middle back. Between your shoulder blades. Upper back. Back ribs. And the side ribs. The front ribs. Feel the work of the organs therein. The movement of the lung. The beating of the heart. Notice how your throat feels and your shoulders. And your armpit and upper arm. Elbows, forearm, wrist, palm, thumb, and fingers. Back of your neck. Base of your skull, scalp, forehead, around your eyebrows and between them, around your eyes, eyelids. Take notice of the feeling of the breath in and out through the nostrils, the sinus, the throat. Feel the skin and muscle around your mouth, your lips, and your tongue, the roof of your mouth. What does that feel like? Bring your focus now to your ears. Without the need for listening. And find now the feeling of each breath. In your whole body. Notice the substance of your body. The feeling of being supported. Feeling each replenishing breath and start to wriggle your fingers and your toes. Curious about your movement. Bending in your arms and your legs. And rolling to your right side. And when you're ready, come up and have a seat. Take the feeling to practice with you. Namaste.